Hey everybody, welcome back to Otto's Retirement Corner. Standing in today is Juno. I want to get back to something I promised I would get back to months ago, and that is my Medicare billing horror show. We've come to an end of it, and I just want to review what happened. For those of you who remember, I'm sorry to have to go through this, but for those who don't, um, for the first 2 years, in the first year and a half in Medicare, when I retired at 65, they charged me an IRMA, income related monthly adjustment amount, based upon my earnings. And they go back 2 years. So it was during the time I was working. So I appealed it and I got it taken down to, instead of, 2 levels up, 1 level up, even though I thought it should be 0. I gave up fighting it. So I paid that. And then January this year, I got a bill for, I don't know, $1,100, something like that. They wanted back IRMAs. They wanted additional IRMAs. And anybody I talked to couldn't understand why or what it was, but they suggested I pay it, otherwise my Medicare would get cut off. And to be clear, I get billed for Medicare because I'm not on Social Security, so there's nothing for them to subtract. Out of my Social Security, so I have to pay it. I just do it on auto pay out of my checking account. So, I kept calling and calling, and for those who remember, I couldn't get anywhere with anybody on the phone, either at Social Security, who sets the pricing, or at Medicare. Nobody knew what was going on or why. So I finally, took the dive and took my 40-minute ride in traffic to the Social Security office in Tampa, and waited my hour to wait and see somebody. And so the greatest person, she was clearly a supervisor. I saw her managing other people as she was helping me, and she said, "You know what, you're right. What happened is they charged you the IRMA for a single person rather than married filing jointly." So she said, "None of the IRMAs you paid, should have been paid. We'll refund it." Oh, great. Okay, so, subsequently I got a check for $172. Now, my estimate of what I overpaid, I want to say $1,200–1,300 in total. You pay IRMAs on both Part B and Part D. So I get a check for $172, and it says on it Part D IRMA refund. My calculation was it's supposed to be 190 something. So I held on to the check, called them. And this is more a story about customer service at Medicare and Social Security than it is my personal billing issues. But this is how we get there. All right, so nobody, again, call Social Security, tells you to call Medicare. Medicare tells you to call Social Security. Well, aren't there notes on the account? Well, yeah, but we really don't understand them. I can only see some of them. There's no note, depending upon who you talk to. So nobody knows anything. All right, so finally someone said, "Oh, you'll get your Part B refund when we cut checks on June 15th. Well, the end of June came, and July came, and there was nothing, so I was pretty sure nothing was coming to me. But meanwhile, my automatic billing for Part B of the $174.70 that we all pay every month for Part B wasn't getting taken out of my account starting in February. So I was starting to think, okay, that's how they're going to refund me. They're just going to not bill me. Or something got screwed up and I'm just not getting billed, but I don't know. So again, I call Social Security, they don't know, they send me to Medicare. I call Medicare, they don't go, no, they send me to Social Security. So, I give up. Let's see how far I can ride this no Medicare Part B payment. And meanwhile, Medicare is paying all my bills, so okay, fine, let's see where it goes. So finally, a couple weeks ago, I got a notice saying, okay, your Medicare Part B charge for September will be 117, what was it, 117.60. Okay, so they finally got to an amount. So as it turns out, I got the 172.70 for Part D, and the amounts I wasn't charged for Part B over most of this year now total $1,105. So I got a refund in essence of $1,277. I didn't go back and calculate what it actually was. It was $1,300 and something, but call it even. It's not worth it for me now to drive to Tampa again in the traffic and wait who knows how long to actually talk to a person. But here's the bigger issue is that number one, it takes a long time to get someone on the phone to talk to. Sometimes it didn't. Sometimes it was pretty quick, but typically a 40-minute to 60-minute wait isn't unusual. And the last time I called Social Security, there was a recording on there that said, if you're calling about your disability benefit application, please understand that it's taking about 6 months to get a decision. And I'm thinking, there's the problem. They and the head of Social Security and the head of Medicare will both tell you this, is they are underfunded. If anybody watches Dr. Ed Weir on YouTube, and you should, he worked at Social Security, he understands the system. The first thing he'll tell you is they're horribly underfunded. And the result of that is the customers, the people on Social Security and Medicare, can't get either can't get to talk to somebody, or because they have to try to hire people and can't train them. They don't have the budgets. People leave there quickly. Replacing them is difficult. So they're understaffed and they're undertrained, and they just can't answer questions. And whose fault is this? And it's Congress's fault. Congress allocates the money for those organizations to run their operations, and they're not getting the money. And I'm not going to blame Republicans or Democrats or anybody politically. Let's just say that it's Congress's fault. This has been going on for probably more than a decade, from what I understand. It may be longer than that, depending on who you listen to. And either they don't care, or it's not a high priority for them, or nobody notices that. There's nobody contributing to their campaign saying, hey, we got to get more money into these programs, while there's corporate lobbyists giving them money saying, hey, you got to pass this law or pass that law. Nobody's advocating for it outside of people in the industry and a few politicians, but nobody's paying for it. I'm not going to call it bribes, but when you get lobbyists contributing to your campaign or your PAC, you give them time and you talk to them. I'm not saying the laws that get passed shouldn't be passed, but there's nobody advocating for Social Security and Medicare, and that's the bottom line. So, personally, I hope I'm done with this. Eventually, in 2.5 years, I'll start Social Security, and I'll have to start subtracting my Medicare Part B premium from that. I'm just hoping at that time there's no crossover where I pay for a month or two out of my checking account, and then it also gets taken out of Social Security. So I got a 2.5 years to not worry about anything, hopefully. So let me know what you think about Social Security and Medicare, issues or problems you've had, specifically communicating with them, whether it's in writing or in person or on the phone, which is the way most people try to call them or contact them. So thanks for listening to my problem. There probably won't be any more videos about this, but I know a lot of people have asked me, hey, what happened to that? Some people have had their own problems and want to know how I cleared mine up. So it resolved itself to my satisfaction, almost. I'll eat that other $100 or so, whatever it is, just to be done with it. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.